two before the one. Wisdom is water, I'm the daughter of the cannon fodder. Applied knowledge and insight, a born scholar. Look like a martyr to marauders like Tartar. Wise owl slaughter, whack MCs order applauder. Original woman, decipher the womb. Crown of creation, fruit of the planet Earth.
Peace, peace, peace. Welcome to another episode of Wise the Dome TV. Today, I have a very, very special guest. He's an author, founder of Harlem Liberation School, teacher, educator, scholar, and somebody who consistently shares his wisdom with us, African people. And it's an honor to do these types of shows with these types of brothers. And so without any, further delay, Agyei Tyehimba, thank you for coming to Wise the Dome TV and spending some time with us.
Thank you for inviting me, brother. It's when you do this work, you find yourself in very hostile environments sometimes. Right. People and institutions that don't see you, don't appreciate you, hate to see your face moving to make sure that you don't rise. So when you get in places that love you and what you represent, that's always a welcome thing, man.
Absolutely. And we do love you. We do appreciate you. And so, yeah, that's off tops. First thing since this is your first time on the show, and for people who may not be familiar with you and your works, Harlem, New York, what was it like growing up in Harlem, New York? What does Harlem mean to you?
Yeah. So I'm 57. Mm-hmm. So that means that my childhood was the 70s in Harlem, and the 80s and 90s, particularly the 80s was, I'm a teen, I'm a young coming into being, so to speak. So I remember mostly from the 80s, but Harlem was violent. New York City, I don't know if people seen it in the documentary. New York City was rough. It still is, but it was very rough. There was heroin everywhere in the 70s. You can see the junkies, so they call them junkies. In the wintertime, they would burn wood in these huge metal trash cans, and they'd be on the block, huddled up over shooting up right in broad, right in front of everybody,
right,
nodding off. It was bad. Prostitution, it was rough. People was getting robbed, stuck up, sexual assault on the regular. It was a city that people did not want to come to for tourism at that time. It was also bankrupt. The city was bankrupt. They begged the federal government for money. The federal government said no. So it was rough. The whole story of burning down the projects in the Bronx, and it was rough. A lot of people who were white were trying to get out of New York and places like Harlem, and in doing so, were part of the destruction of the infrastructure. So when I came up in Harlem, there was places I could go, particularly in the Bronx, but also in Harlem, that looked like somebody bombed it. It was buildings were bricks and glass. It's like the song, the message, broken glass everywhere. That's real. That's real talk. On the corner.
Yeah.
He's not making that up.
Yeah.
So on the rough side, it was that. On the beautiful side, because people say, well, brother, if you came through it was so ugly and negative, how did it produce such great? And this is how, because our people we're not just people that just sit around and take what we're given.
Right.
We take what we got and we re-engineer it, man. So in the midst of all that ugliness and violence and drugs, right, you also had, as you might relate to, poor righteous teachers.
Absolutely. Peace to the God.
Yes, sir. We had brother Father Allah Clarence 13X, who leaves his post as assistant minister of Nation of Islam and starts the 5% Nation of Gods and Earths. Where is it located? Right on 126th Street, Lenox Avenue. So that's right. I mean, back then I'd be walking all over the place. So I would walk there, good 15 minutes. I would try to politic with the older heads. I wasn't formally God-body at all. But because I came up in Harlem and I was a brother that went out and talked and wanted to know and learn. And then I went to high school, mad gods in the high school. So I'm soaking all that up. And my father also is a brother that taught me a lot as a young kid.
Indeed.
So I was reading really early, really young. We went through my father's little library, what he had. He had a bunch of books. Harlem to me was a place, it was like seen as, some have referred to it as the Black cultural intellectual mecca. I try not to situate or locate things that create or add to our division or people feeling like, well, I'm somebody too. So I try not to make it like it's the most important. But clearly, it has resonance.
Yes.
It has a history of radical Black intellectual thought. It has a history of protest. If you look at the Black Panther Party, many of the people that started that Black Liberation Army are coming out of New York.
Yes.
Not everybody.
Yes.
Not everybody. But you got Dhoruba bin Wahad, Assata Shakur, Sister Sophia Bakari, right? So it's this idea that we're going to take the theory and we're going to be proponents of it, but we're going to fuse that with hardcore knocking on doors. Brother and sister, come to the meeting. Here's a flyer, serving lunch, activism and organizing. And I think Harlem represent that. Also, you got to remember, in terms of the intellectual tradition, you had very important bookstores.
Yes. Can you talk about that some? Because, I'm not Black bookstores growing up in North Carolina in Durham, we had one called the No, which is a very important part of my growth and development and getting on the path that I'm currently on now. So yes, can you please talk about some of those Black bookstores in Harlem growing up and what they meant to the city and what they meant to you?
The Black bookstores were everything, especially when you consider that because of the digital age and Amazon, they're virtually non-existent,
right?
At least the way they used to be. So you had the National, I could be mixing this up, National African Memorial Bookstore. Brother, oh man, what's my brother? Louis Michaud. He called it the House of Proper, the House of Proper Propaganda, something like that. But this is where Brother Malcolm would come to his store. So if you see the old documentaries and Malcolm's on, it looks to be like a wooden stage, and there's this billboard behind him of these different faces of African men. He's in front of that bookstore.
Wow.
They were very close, and this elder, whose brother, by the way, was Oscar Michaud, the famous Black filmmaker.
The one that was making books that counted the narrative from the what was the famous racist movie that we're D.W. Griffin, I believe.
Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, Oscar Michaud is making them all black cats, all black cats in the 20s and 30s and 40s. So this guy comes from a vibrant sort of family, a take charge, we're gonna make it happen, do something about it family. And so he's feeding Malcolm books. Malcolm's coming through and they talking, and he said, man, you gotta check this out. That's the role Black bookstores played. It wasn't these kind of, you just go in, you're looking around, somebody says, can I help you? You say no, and you just pick up a book, and you drink a little coffee at the cafe, and you leave. Black bookstores then were like your auntie's or grandma's living room.
Wow.
You went in, it was welcoming.
Right.
The person said, hey, brother, hey, sister, come on in. What you talking? What's going on? Take a load off your feet. What you looking for?
Right.
And if you told them, they could take you directly to the section you need to go to. And so you had that bookstore. You had a Liberation bookstore, which is close to my heart. That's where I met one of my Jegna's sister, Una Mozak, rest in power to her. She, I had been talking to all the elders. Where's the bookstores, the famous? They said, you got to go to Liberation. So I went to Liberation. I think that was on 132nd and Lenox, or now known as Malcolm X Boulevard. And this was a petite, light-skinned, fiery sister whose father was one of Marcus Garvey's steamship captains. So all these people got lineage. You feel me?
Yes.
So, right. So you're meeting people, you're meeting historical figures either in them or through them, right? And so she was, I'll never forget, she was so taken with this little middle school 13-year-old boy that asking about, I heard about you. I want to come meet you and see the store. I heard, and she was so blown away. She was so blown away by that. She just, I remember she held my face. Oh my God, that's so beautiful, young brother.
Right.
It was like your grandmother,
Yeah.
my grandmother,
Yeah.
like, and I would go there as many Saturdays or weekends as I could. And we would chop it up. She'd sometimes give me free books, autographed books. And it wasn't, I'm going to say this, it wasn't like the neatest,
Right.
like a bookstore we think of today. She had stacks of stuff all over the place. And she knew where everything was. And she had a story. People she met. I should also say, these people weren't people who were just business people.
Right.
Sister Una left the United States as a younger woman, went to be part of the, I want to say, revolution or the resistance movement in Guyana.
Oh, wow.
On her own.
Right.
Bringing no one with her. Opens up a bookstore as a place not just to sell books, but to have revolutionary meetings and underground. And so the enemies there bombed her bookstore and killed her co-worker.
Wow.
Straight up killed him, and it injured her. That revolution was unsuccessful. She was not, it became dangerous for a lot of people.
Yes.
And I don't think her passport was renewed, or visa, or whatever you call it. So she came back to the United States, opened up Liberation Bookstore. And she said, I remember the first thing she said, young man, what does this look like to you? I was confused. A bookstore?
Yeah.
She said, no, that's the front. She said, this is a revolutionary meeting center. The books are the front.
Right.
This is for our people. And I was so taken by this woman, brother.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh, man. So, and listen, we stayed, our relationship lasted from middle school all the way through high school when I went to Syracuse University. And I was now heading this radical militant Black student union. She was advising me. I'm calling her and we kicking it. She's reading our newsletters and we stayed in touch for a long time, and she's
that's family.
Very instrumental. Yeah. So the Black Book, and I should also say the last note on this. If people are familiar with COINTELPRO,
yes,
I don't know if they're familiar that Black bookstores in the 60s and 70s were key targets, and that's in the memos.
Right.
Her name is in that memo.
Oh,
in those
wow.
memos.
Wow.
Many people who were radicalizing young people and they astutely picked up. These aren't just bookstores. These are meeting places. People are meeting and planning and strategizing.
Right.
Some of it underground activity.
Right.
So they were targeted. So a lot of these bookstores were infiltrated and had people coming in and to get information and stuff like that. So for people who think reading and being literate and being informed and intellectual is somehow weak,
right,
or not important. Sometimes look at how your enemy sees it, and it give you a good gauge. If our enemies are sending people to infiltrate, to spy on these stores and say we need to watch these stores, that's telling you that these places are sites of resistance,
yes,
and rebellion. So,
right.
And we should take them more seriously.
Absolutely.
I mean, I hope I answered your question.
That's perfect. And you went over some very powerful history. And you mentioned going to Syracuse and what kind of, okay, so what was your experience like at Syracuse as far as, organizing, what's left of the Black Power movement, all of these different things that are going on. And because you just explained, obviously, being, radicalized by the books, and not just the books, but the bookstores and the relationships that you built in there. And so whenever you're, graduating high school and going to Syracuse, tell me about that time period in your life.
Yes. Before that, brother, please forgive me. I'm not trying to.
Yeah. Oh, no. Let's get it. Let's get it. No, we good. Let's get it.
But I do have to say this. I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. My father got me started.
Okay, absolutely.
His little collection of books and Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X Speaks and all these different things, and teaching me about Malcolm because he got to actually see Malcolm speak all the time.
Out there in
As when he
Harlem,
was a
right?
young man. Yeah, and he was like electrified by Brother Malcolm. So I have to start with him, and I have to also say Harlem has Allah School, Mecca. Harlem had First World Alliance. Now, First World Alliance was like it was, first of all, sometimes it was at City College, but most of the time I think the headquarters was in this little Lutheran church that I coincidentally attended the school connected to it in elementary school, right? And so these are like, both of these sites are like a 2-minute walk
from
my house. I would go to First World Alliance on Saturdays, young. And that there you had Dr. Ben, John Henrik Clarke. Remember I Need when she was Donna Richards then. Man, Amos Wilson, all Ivan Van Sertima,
what a time.
Dr. James Smalls, all these people came through. So that was a site of radicalization. So I'm reading stuff.
Yes.
I'm going to First World Alliance. I'm walking down 125th Street. Back then you could go walk down that whole strip. I'm gonna say let's say from 8th Avenue all the way up to Lenox. And it was just tables and tables and tables. Typically, brothers and sisters had books, African fabric, jewelry, handmade jewelry, essential oils to wear. And the book vendors there, man. It's another thing. So these dudes ain't just, like today, people selling books or selling stuff, but they have no connection to the product.
Right.
It's just a product that they're selling. These guys that are selling these books were in Republic of New Africa.
Yeah.
Revolutionary Action Movement, Black Panther Party. So when you talking with them, you are building. They say, hey, you a young brother, what you do? What you know about so-and-so? And I tell them, I'm interested in this. And they say, oh, man. So they would, you need to check this out. So we got cool. And sometimes I'd be there, we'll talk for half an hour, a whole hour, just talking. And then they would tell me, like, you need to go see Sister Una Mozak over Liberation. I said, yeah, I know, sister. I said, oh, wow.
Right.
So it was that. So that's important. You also had the Schaumburg Library.
Absolutely.
And I was one of them young dudes that went there and actually, so on Saturdays or Sundays, to actually go there and study. And then you had my church. I have to say this. Now, I don't necessarily agree with let me say the traditional orthodoxy that we've been told about Christianity. Right. But I also know where they got that from. I know that ancient Kemet was teaching those as metaphors, not as literal things. But that's another show.
Yeah, we can definitely do that one too one day. So
it's another show. But I learned so much from Convent Avenue Baptist Church, which was again a 2-minute walk from my house. I went there from first grade, probably all the way to high school. Although in high school, the attendance wasn't, I was now thinking differently. But the point is, why would that be political? All black people, black-owned property, all black people in leadership positions, good-looking, well-dressed, strong, vibrant black people given directions. I got to see all black people in a universe that they ran completely. Right. And I learned. I was on the choir. I was on the usher board. I was on their football team. I was in the Baptist Youth Fellowship. So this is where we talked about all types of issues: racism, sexism. We talked about the drugs influx, crime, anti-black propaganda. So this is where young people could actually, associated with the church, could speak out and could develop this idea of being intellectual and speaking truth to power in front of audiences. Yes. Right. So my first time speaking in front of a crowd were in the church. I was a little kid speaking in front of a whole, you think about this whole huge church, reading the scripture. And people will laugh, say, oh man, that's the white man's scripture. No. That's the black man and woman's scripture that they took and perverted and misunderstood. Let's be very clear where that came from. Right. Okay. So all that gave me my fearlessness. I'm not afraid to speak in front of a group. But that didn't happen in college, and it didn't happen in high school. It happened right in the church.
Wow, that's
So
powerful. And what I'm hearing also as well is just how much the community, you know, shaped who you are and the path that led you to being who you are today. And that's just powerful. And I think that's a testament on what a community can do. You know, I remember even just, you know, like growing up a hip hop head, I remember interviews and you know, a couple of brothers from Wu-Tang, I believe, were talking about how they, when they were younger, they would just, you know, walk down the block and brothers with vendors selling ISIS papers and those types of books, and that type of environment, to be able to see that kind of thing and it be normalized, and that as, and you know, even acting somewhat as a, like a rites of passage for those who are, you know, into that, man, it's that's something powerful, and it's obviously something that we need to do our best to get back to.
yes, sir, yes, sir. And then one last piece on that.
Hmm.
The other thing about Harlem at that time was I grew up on a block with brothers who spit
Mm.
and who did graffiti and who
Hmm.
did breakdance and who did electric boogie.
Right,
So
right,
I'm
right.
a poet. So I'm right as a young, I'm writing poetry, regular poetry, writing my feelings down.
Hmm.
But now I'm around people that's actually doing block parties and
Mm.
DJing, and I'm like,
Hmm.
whoa. So
Yeah,
now I'm a young MC. So now I'm
yeah,
a hip hop MC in Harlem.
yeah.
So all of that, this, if you think about what I've done the past 40 years, speaking, I'm organizing, that type of stuff, teaching, uh, uh, proficiency with the word,
Hmm.
all goes back to growing up right on the block.
Right.
Hip hop, me and my boys, we walk into different
Mhm.
sections of Harlem battling dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, you know, so and also this kind of a confidence comes out of that.
Yes. Hmm.
You can't be no hip hop and see and be scared.
Nah, nah, it don't work like that. Nah, you
So there
gotta,
wasn't no
yeah.
fear. All of that comes. If I want people, and I'm doing I should say, I'm writing a memoir
Mm.
that won't be a typical memoir in the
Hmm.
way I'm structuring it. So a lot of this is going to be in there, but I give thanks and praise to to the divine as represented in actual human beings in my
Mm.
life,
Right.
not just as external entities somewhere out there, but God, the gods and goddesses that were in my life.
Mm.
You
Right.
feel me? That's
Absolutely.
important.
Yes.
Real people
Right.
who poured love and showed me things and, you know, opened my mind up young.
Yeah.
I'm a product of all of them and all these institutions I'm talking about.
Absolutely, man.
Now, you want to know about Syracuse?
Well, yeah, and then Syracuse and Cornell.
Okay, so Syracuse. So I go off to Syracuse in 1986, and I want to set the stage, family. From about 13 to this time, I'm reading, I'm studying everything I can get my hands on. I read Malcolm X Speaks. I had heard my father talking about Malcolm, but there wasn't no books on Malcolm like that,
Right.
at least not that I was aware of. When I was about 12 or 13, I was grounded by my mother. And when she grounded you, it was like prison, brother. You couldn't go out. I couldn't
Yeah.
call nobody. I
Right.
couldn't go out the room except to use the bathroom and to eat. It was crazy.
Right. Right. Right.
so so I'm bored to death. So I'm looking for stuff. I found this withered book, and it turns out it's my father's copy of Malcolm X Speaks. I read through this book that weekend, and I'm like, yo, this is the guy who was telling me about all these years.
Hmm.
And I was just, you know, it just blew me away.
Right.
I didn't actually, most people start with the autobiography. I started with Malcolm X Speaks, and then I got to the autobiography.
Hmm.
And I was like, I gotta be like this brother somehow, some way. I'm
Mm.
not gonna be probably as great as him, but some elements of him. I want to write. I want to teach. I want to be well steeped in our history like him.
Right.
I want to help our liberation movement.
Hmm.
So now I'm First World Alliance. My father, Sister Una Liberation Bookstore, the book vendors. I'm doing all this to church. All this stuff is intellectual.
Right.
I'm studying. I'm almost like an autodidact at this
Hmm.
point. But now I'm going to a formal institution, And I'm in all those African American studies classes, fam.
Yeah.
All of them. Anyone I could take, I'm in them. It was like, I remember I got on the campus and saw the African American Studies department for the first time. And I was like a kid in a candy. I could not believe it.
Right.
I was like, whoa.
Right.
This is like my father's little library times a million.
Yeah.
And there's people, black people who actually studied this and they teach it for a living. I was like, what?
Right.
So you couldn't pry me out of those classes in the department. And also, I mean, black students from everywhere, and not just in the States. We're talking about Africa. So now it's kind of like New York is very metropolitan. Colleges are very metropolitan because people all over go there. So now I'm having conversations with people from Congo.
Yeah, right.
From Nigeria. I'm learning, and we're kind of, interacting with each other. But also, that's now my first opportunity to take this knowledge and to operationalize it. So now this is when I start as an activist. Right. And that was very exciting for me, man, because first day on campus, big protest, and it's the Student African American Society. And again, I'm there like mouth wide open, like,
right.
To me, it was heaven. I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
People watching this gonna think this brother's embellishing. Like, I really was like, yo, this is a dream come true. This is perfect for me.
It's
so
like everything you went for was preparing you for that moment, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. So I signed up immediately, and I'm at every meeting. I'm passing out flyers. Back then, family, there was these physical things called flyers. You actually had to type them and give them to people.
Right.
You couldn't send it out right. You had to actually knock on doors and call people and give them the meetings. But I got so caught up, Brother Rakeem, that I wasn't going to classes. I forgot why I was there.
Right.
So the lesson came with, when you get that letter, it's like, brother, they didn't say brother, but it's like, your GPA is negative $1 billion. Unless you bring it up to this by next semester, you are out.
Right.
That's all I needed.
Yeah.
So I got it back together, because I'd stay in the SAS office all day talking, debating, politicking. And I had to remember, no, you got to have balance with this.
Yes.
You got to have balance with the study and, So that's when I first got the activism. People like Chuck Winder, Aisha Wilson, so many greats, Karen Mason. And man, it got to a point where we led a year-long campaign for our African American Studies department, which had by this time become dilapidated. I'm going to say probably around 1988, 89. And our parents' generation, as you would know, in the 60s, is the generation that got those departments through their protests.
Right.
In the Black Power movement. And now we are like their children's generation coming in like, yo, what's up with our Black Studies department?
Right.
Why is the roof falling in?
Right.
Why the books are not proper? Why is there no artwork? Why is there like only 3 professors? Why is there no real course catalog? Nah, y'all got to do something about that. So for a whole year, starting off very nice with petitions and all that, we took over the university. Sometimes we held people against their will in certain administration buildings. We stopped traffic. We disrupted American history classes. It was like, if we ain't learning our history, y'all not gonna learn your history. And we would disrupt the classes. So it got really, really hectic. And finally, after a year of that, I think the university capitulated, agreed to meet with us. We had 13 demands. All demands were met. Now, as fate would have it, although they signed off to all 13 demands, there's probably like 2 that have not quite been fully completed, because people may know institutions don't move quickly.
Yeah.
Right. It's great. They got to find money and also they don't want to do it. Let's be clear. They didn't want to do it, but we gave them no choice. Every time we met and we said we want this and this, they would say, okay, we agree to these 2, but not to these. We get up, meeting's over, protests continue. We did that twice. And it's like, yo, we gotta end this. Because at one point the New York Times was writing about it. Different papers was like, yo, these students is blowing up over there in Syracuse. What's going on? So I think we got the community involved and the parents. Of course, they tried to give me false charges of beat somebody up, and I broke this and all that. But when the hearing time came, they had a jury, if you will, of undergrad leaders, graduate students, community leaders, and professors on the day that they were supposed to have a so-called hearing to decide if I and other people would be kicked out of school or not.
Oh, wow.
Nobody on that so-called jury showed up.
Oh, really? And so everybody stayed in school.
Nobody came to it's like the jurors don't come.
Right.
They just don't come. So they
out of support for the students. Absolutely.
Out of support for the students, and also because we had alliances with all these people.
Yeah.
So they were rocking, supporting us.
No,
so Syracuse was like that, man.
Yeah, that's dope because a lot of people may not realize how a lot of these Africana Studies departments were created from San Francisco State to Cornell. Like stuff was popping off on campuses. You know what I mean?
Man, yes, sir.
And
yes, sir. It wasn't no. Could you fix the department, please? Them days was the civil rights movement days.
Right.
Yeah, this was different.
Yeah, indeed. All right, so can you talk about your time at Cornell and the Africana Studies department there and the work that you did, at Cornell?
Yes, sir. And I have to shout out Dr. Janice Mays, Dr. Randolph Hawkins, and some of the people at Syracuse. Going to Cornell, it was so funny how this worked. I was this is going to sound weird, I was a tad bit anti-intellectual, but this is what I mean. I was a solid reader.
Yeah.
Voracious reader, but I kind of associated advanced degrees with you trying to be like the white man. What's that about?
Right.
When you get a master's degree, doctorate degree. I was one of those. But I was young.
Yes.
Thinking like that. The problem is we got people my age thinking like that now. That's not good. That's not good.
True.
Anyway, so his brother was constantly like, yo, Agyei, you got to hear this brother, Dr. James Turner. He's at Cornell. He was in this master's degree program at Cornell. He said, man, you got to come. I said, man, I don't want the white man. I don't need I got the bachelor's degree. I don't need the white man. He running that hard black nationalist line. He said, nah, man, this brother, he met
Turner.
Malcolm X and and da-da-da-da. And I was like, and he would tell me for like 2 years. And then 1 year, the black students at Cornell, their black student union, invited me to do a speech to talk to, because they were taking over their black studies department and they knew what I had been part of. So I did this rally, this speech, and this brother comes up, Dashiki, distinguished old brother, deep voice. My brother, may I speak to you? I said, yes, sir. He said, my name is Dr. James Turner. I said, hey, man, I've been hearing your name for 2 years. He said, really? I said, yeah, I've been hearing about it. He said, man, I love what you had to say. Very good, strong young brother. You're just the type of brother we need in our department. And I said, what department? He said, the Africana Studies and Research Center. This is what Brian had been trying to tell me about to get involved with.
Right.
So he basically kind of recruited me to come there.
Yes.
Gave me his card. And then from there, man, every Saturday, I'm driving out to politic with Dr. Turner. Because it was like, at this point, I graduated living in Syracuse. And it was like a 45-minute drive.
I just want the people, I don't mean to cut your wisdom, but I want the people to understand how important of a figure Dr. James Turner was in this space. Like being invited by him, like I need people to understand the context in which all of this is happening. Dr. James Turner is, one of the, obviously, what we would consider a legend. There we go. See, oh wow,
that's the man. He's the man right there. Right.
And he's a founding director at Cornell Africana Studies and Research Center. And I didn't want, because obviously you mentioned his name. And for people who may not know, just may think, hey, that's just another brother's name that you were mentioned that helped you along on your journey. But Dr. James Turner is a legend in this space. Rest in power to him. So I just wanted to say that.
Yes, Dr. Turner, and here's the other thing, the way that knowledge works and energy works. So Dr. Turner's, one of his teachers was John Henrik Clarke. And Dr. Turner was a young man who was brilliant. And some people in his family like, boy, you should go to school, go to college. And he, like me, that's the white man. I don't want to do that.
Right.
You know, he was running little neighborhood gangs, and he wasn't trying to do that, but he was brilliant.
Right.
So he went up to Malcolm. He told us the story. He went up to Malcolm after a rally. He would come uptown to hear Malcolm. And Brother Malcolm said, hey, let the young man through. And he said, yeah, my family says I'm really smart. I get good grades and I should go to college. But I think that's like the white man's thing. I ain't trying to. And he said Malcolm stopped him immediately. He said, well, knowledge doesn't belong to anybody, my brother. Knowledge is universal. Right? He said, if you have the intelligence and the capability to go to college, you go to college. He said he told him, this is what he's telling us. He said, one of my greatest regrets is that I didn't go to college. This is Malcolm.
Wow.
So now he's blown away.
Right.
It's like, whoa. So he, of course, goes to college, becomes a great student activist at Northwestern or Northeastern. Did the same thing we did, taking over the Black Studies department. And it's in that. So he, with John Henrik Clarke, started African Heritage Studies Association. No. Oh, God, I'm getting it all wrong, brother. I got a lot going on in my head. But they coined the term Africana Studies. And Dr. Turner is considered one of the foremost pioneers and architects of what we call Africana Studies today. And that's very important because, like Black Studies, it's different from the other departments because other departments, sociology, they teach you about Emily Durkheim and Karl Marx and all these different people, but it's all academic.
Yeah.
All these other departments are strictly academic. Africana Studies, Black Studies was one of the first departments that has a built-in mandate to be activists. This ain't just about we talking, giving papers and going to some conference and eating up food and dressing nice and talking about what we learned. Like, we have a mandate to connect with our community and to help liberate our people. It's built right in.
Right.
That makes it completely different from anything else you're going to study. And that's what made it special. So he's the man. And also, I should say, when mainstream white intellectual spaces were disrespecting and devaluing Dr. Ben and Dr. Clarke, saying that they were not legitimate intellectuals, it was Dr. Turner that created a job space for Dr. Ben at Cornell, and Dr. Turner who brought John Henrik Clarke to Cornell to teach. So he was also at the 6th Pan-African Conference in Tanzania. He was one of the conveners. So this brother was he was special. He wasn't your average cabbage.
Yeah, indeed.
He was special. Yeah.
I think this is the perfect segue. All your work and obviously, Dr. James Turner, all a continuation of the legacy of John Henrik Clarke in a lot of ways. Can you talk about the importance of John Henrik Clarke? It's, because I was going through some of my books the other day, and I was like, wow, I'm pretty sure you know about this one, but this Harlem, USA, has John Henrik Clarke, Langston Hughes, James Baldwin, a lot of people writing about Harlem. And you already mentioned, earlier, like what the environment, like, prepared you for. But John Henrik Clarke in particular, just can you talk about the man and what he means to you and, our tradition of Black studies and just, digging up our past?
Yeah, Dr. Clarke is another special man. I don't know a better. We're all special just by being on this earth.
Absolutely.
But there's people who distinguish themselves by great service and consistent service over a long period of time, impacting so many people. Dr. Clarke, first of all, was an autodidact. This means, family, he was self-taught. This is important because he wasn't just self-taught. He was also taught by a brother named Arturo Schomburg.
Absolutely.
And others. Some of these people had formal education. So what Dr. Clarke shows us that teaching yourself is great, but it always helps when you have somebody who may have a formal, more in-depth knowledge, maybe greater capacity with analytical stuff and research stuff to add to that. Because if I'm just teaching myself how to fence, for instance, but I have no coach, nobody external to me, how do I know my stance is right? How do I know I'm holding the right position? Who's checking me? So what he shows us is the power, what happens when you match that autodidact energy, because it takes energy to self-teach yourself, family. You set your own schedule, right? That takes a lot of, but when you match that with, now you're getting a Jegna who does have these other skills in a formal way, it's unstoppable. So he was one of the most clear-speaking, make it plain individuals ever, to the point where Brother Malcolm basically asked him, pretty much, could you be my guy with respect to teach the history? So like he had like a little cabinet, like a president would have. And so when a Brother Malcolm comes to you and says, could you teach me the history? That says it all.
It says it all.
It says it all. He also, people should know, he was a scholar activist. And I'm not saying scholars who aren't activists, there's nothing wrong with that. We all choose a lane, but what he did was he started organization. See, so that means he had agency. He wasn't just going to conferences.
Can you please talk about that some more? Because I think that a lot of people may miss that part about who John Henrik Clarke was. You know, they may just see the scholar aspects, but they may not understand or know, you know, any of his working with the, Organization of Afro-American Unity and other organizing efforts that he had. Can you go over that some?
Yes. Well, first of all, Dr. Clarke and one of his proteges, who would be Dr. James Turner, and he had another protege who became a Jegna of mine. Y'all know him from Hidden Colors. I knew him when he was known as Booker T. Coleman. Y'all know him as Kaba Kameni.
Wow.
So when you think of all the people this man touched, so some would say your wealth is in what you got. Some would say your wealth is in all the people that you touch. When you can stand and say, when people can say, because of you, I know this. Because of you, I changed this. Because that's wealth, man. And he was a wealthy man. So he was also with the Harlem History Club.
Yes.
Right. So this is this group of people. I think Maya Angelou was in it. I can't remember, but John, I can't remember his name, historian. But it was a group of historians, intellectuals, and writers. No, he was I can't think of. It's gonna come to me.
Yeah.
But he was with a group of intellectuals and writers and things like this that met and talked over Harlem history and this and that. So that's one thing. And though Malcolm wasn't like formally part of that, he benefited from some of those people. John Henrik Clarke, Maya Angelou would become close with Malcolm and would be influenced by Malcolm. Right. So that's an organization. That's an agency. That's more than just, I know a lot. That's how I'm exerting leadership in the community. He also was part of, I think it was called the African Heritage Association. I'm mixing some stuff up, brother.
It's okay. It's okay.
And he and Dr. Turner were livid that they kept trying to whitenize African history. So they left. They had a big walkout of this big organization. They led a walkout of brothers and sisters. And they started the African American Heritage Studies Association. So this still exists. And they have conferences. And when you're a graduate student in Africana Studies or Black Studies, you typically will go to some of these conferences and present papers. and stuff like that. So he was kind of an activist too. They had walkouts,
Yeah.
they protested, but he
Right.
didn't just stop. Here's
Right.
where some activists don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
To protest the white man's school is great.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, where's your school?
Mm.
So some people gonna protest the white man's school and create a school, not just be talking about what he don't do.
Right.
We put in existence what we need. So he's part of that type of black man and intellectual. Yeah. So he's in there with, he's what we would call a scholar activist.
Yes, yes, indeed. Now that kind of leads me to Harlem Liberation School. Can you talk about founding that, and what the idea, concept, inspiration was behind it, and just and share some of that history and the reason why you manifested that.
Yes, sir. It was very organic. It
Mm,
was a particular, I don't know why 2015 I was in all these panel discussions for some reason. I don't know why that was. So I'm invited to these panel discussions and I'm listening to people who are, with no disrespect, but I have to tell the truth, community leaders or proclaim themselves to be, and they were saying things that were blatantly not true.
hmm,
And they were misrepresenting the history. And they
right.
were, and I said, whoa. And I'm sitting up there, and so my time on these panels, imagine how awkward it is for me. I'm invited to a panel discussion with other people, and I'm checking people like, no, that did not happen.
Hmm,
Incorrect.
right.
And you can't bang on Christianity and say you represent Marcus Garvey without understanding Marcus Garvey was Christian.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And that Marcus Garvey wrote hymns and prayers
Mm-hmm.
and had Anglican priests involved in his organization.
Mm-hmm.
Like, tell the history right. You can bang on Christianity because you feel it's westernized and inaccurate, but understand that some of the forefathers of black nationalism, Martin Delany,
Mm-hmm.
all of these people were Christian.
Right.
They just didn't take it the way the white man taught it. They Africanized it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, nah, you can't do that. You can't do that, brother. You got to tell the truth. So I'm up here at these panels, and Brother Akeem, I was getting upset about it, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to get upset about it.
Yeah.
But obviously our people need political education.
Yes.
Yes. Brother Akeem, when you have the benefit of something, it's easy to take that for granted.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people didn't grow up in homes where their father was teaching them.
Right.
Or they had a library, or they was talking to all these people and was taking them in and pulling them in. So I might walk around thinking everybody knows that.
Yeah. Right.
That may not be true. What that taught me was, okay, we got to bring Africana Studies to the hood.
Yeah.
We got to bring political education to the hood so people know what they are talking about.
Right. Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Know how to organize, know the foundational knowledge of how to organize, particularly in a digital age.
Yeah.
Where, everything is so quick, and so that prompted me. I was talking with my queen and we talking about it and we trying to figure it out. And that's how it started. So in 2016, Black History Month of 2016, we opened it up in a art gallery that owned by a former Syracuse University classmate who was a member of my student organization.
Powerful.
And we started up there, and man, it was going strong. We had people coming out. Abby O'Doon gave the presentation at our first night. It was really, we had a bunch of powerhouses. Jahi Issa. We had Brother Kaba Kameni come through, man. We had Dr. James Smalls. We had so many heavy hitters. And we also had people in the local community.
Right.
Who were activists and organizers.
Right.
So it was really strong, man. Political education classes. We met like twice a month on I think it was Mondays at that time. And then the epidemic came and so much happened and the rent was quadrupled.
Yeah.
And
right.
Right. So then we kind of pushed out the brick and mortar. So since probably 2019, 20 or something, we've been strictly in the digital space. I created a YouTube channel called Black Liberation University. And somebody hacked it, put up some inappropriate thing, And YouTube terminated that. That joint had 8,000 subscribers.
Oh man. Oh man.
That hurt. That hurt,
Right.
man.
Yeah.
So we restarted as Harlem Liberation School named
Yeah.
after the organization.
Right.
And so that's why we're in the YouTube space now. We're hoping to get back to a brick and mortar also, because the times call for more aggressive organized. You know, when they said when times get tough, the tough get tougher. They don't cry and complain and go in the back. We step forward. So at this time, the organizers, the activists, and the intellectuals have to accelerate. They got to be more on point, more prolific, putting out more books, more films, plays, all of that, teaching, because our people are scared. If I can say it very bluntly, they're scared.
Right.
No, very few will say it, but they're scared. They're seeing all this people, National Guard coming up in people's cities, and black people losing jobs unethically, and they're like, whoa, they don't know what to do.
It's a lot of anxiety going on, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So the leaders got to lead, got to step up and provide some guidance and direction and train people.
Yeah.
Let them know. Our people always fought back.
Yeah. Word is bond.
This is no different.
And I want people to also, go to Harlem Liberation School YouTube channel and subscribe. Let's get it back into the algorithm. Let's get it back to 8,000 and beyond. I just saw an interview on there the other day, I think a couple of days ago, with the brother that was from the Young Lords.
Yeah, Baba Carlito.
Yeah, that was dope. That was dope. That was dope. So great content on there. Make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe. One thing that you mentioned also too, and especially being in Harlem, right? But growing up, being someone that was into poetry, also emceeing, seeing graffiti artists, seeing DJs. Obviously New York is the home, New York City is the home of Broadway, right? The Black Arts Movement. What role does art, music, and literature play, in your opinion, in our liberation movements? And like, how can we integrate, culture into the political education that we do?
Man, that's an excellent question, Brother Akeem. There is no politics without culture. Unfortunately, some of our elders, our esteemed elders from the Black Power movement, some of them didn't appreciate the cultural nationalism.
Yeah, they called it pork chop nationalism.
Right, because they saw it as, you just wearing dashikis and changing your name. That ain't changing the system.
Right.
But if we understand culture properly, culture is not just, in school, elementary, it's your food and your clothing. Culture is everything you do. So your values, the things you hold high esteem, the people you look up to, the qualities you want in a man or woman, the types of children you want to raise, the way you raise them, the way you dress, the way you celebrate, your definitions of beauty and success, and what you're chasing and not refusing to chase, is all culture. Right? So when we talk about art, music, and literature, you're talking about culture, the most probably powerful arms of culture. And it's important to know, as much as I'm a student of the Black Power movement, that there is no Black Power movement without the Black Arts movement. And it's fitting that the Black Arts movement came a year before the Black Power movement. It's kind of fitting. Right. Because where did the people get their information from? And that's why. So I do spoken word poetry, but I'm very clear that I didn't invent no spoken word poetry. Nor did Love Jones.
Right.
that comes from the last poets and Gil Scott Heron. They took the elders to Langston Hughes.
Because didn't Asada say in her memoir that she was going up to hear the last poets at some club that was out there? Just to show how close together all of this was, I guess contextualized for the people.
Yeah, I mean, and I want y'all to think about it this way. I could go give a speech in a rally, a typical rally, and and just talk. Right? Or I could be like, my words captivate, motivate, and stimulate your mental state
Mm.
with analogies that appease and please, kind of like rice and peas on your mental plate. Am I trying to insinuate that I'm so good, I'm great, setting myself up to get confronted by cats that always wanted to play hate? Nah. I'm just trying to lay down sounds using verbs and nouns that inspire and educate. Unlike those poorly prepared pontificating poets whose prose packs no punch because they're pulling punches instead of forcing the truth down our throats, like the government does with free lunches. My hunches, my words and lyrics are fury that try. So you see what I'm saying?
Bars. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's going to attract people more?
Right. Oh, that obviously, because that speaks
So,
to that soul, that rhythm that we have. You know, there are albums to this day that I hold in high esteem because they were again part of my journey and radicalizing my mental. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure for a lot of people, Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On," yo, like that kind of sparks something. And so, yeah, I agree 100%. I often, when I study the Panthers as well, and obviously, much respect to the Panthers and the ones that are still living, free all political prisoners. The idea of cultural nationalism is obviously is something that I have, just pondered and thought about a lot as well, because I do see the value in changing your name. I do see the value in, understanding our culture, whether you're, regardless of the religion that you practice, are you practicing it in an African manner, reconnecting with Africa? And I guess that's the last thing that I wanted to ask you. For one, we got to do a part two because I left a lot on the table. There's like a lot of different questions I want to ask, but we can end it here. And I think this is important, especially. I know you've probably saw, maybe some of the discourse with James Smalls right now, but are reconnecting with Africa, right? Um, there are powers that be that are pushing the idea that African Americans shouldn't do that, right? When obviously that's something that we've always done from the plantation till now. Uh, just from your perspective, can you talk about the importance of, you know, maintaining our African identity and representing our Africanity proudly?
yes, sir. If you're a father of a young children or child, and if you went to a big event, an African cultural festival, and your daughter got disconnected from you, the
Mm,
first thing she's crying, "Daddy, where are you?" The first thing they're gonna say, "Little girl, what's your name?
hmm,
Where do you live? Your
mhm,
name and address, who you are, where you come from."
right.
If a child finds out they were adopted, what's the first thing they want to know for the rest of their life? All of them.
Mm,
They want to know, who's my mommy and daddy? Where
right.
are they? Can I find them? That's just a natural thing. People want to know where they come from. It gives you a sense of identity. It may give you a sense of pride.
Hmm.
It may warn you of things not to do. We have people in our family that engaged in self-defeating behaviors. So
Hmm.
we might say, I'm gonna leave that alcohol alone because I saw what it did to uncle, what it did
Hmm.
to uncle, right?
Hmm.
So all of that comes from knowing who you are. We're no different.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we were ripped.
Hmm.
We were ripped from our place.
Yeah.
That was an unnatural circumstance. So yeah, we want to know, well, wait a minute. We're living in poverty and we're dying prematurely. We're the youngest dying group on the planet, with black men being number one
Mm,
to die early.
hmm.
Why? People want to know, well, why? Is something wrong with us?
Mm,
And then they trace the history and they say,
hmm.
wait a minute. There was a time when we wasn't begging, borrowing, or stealing from nobody.
Right.
In fact, people was begging, borrowing, stealing from us.
Right.
So
Right.
now, what? This awakens something. Your back gets straight. You
Right.
start
Right.
looking at them big lips and that that melanin in your face, and you start saying, "Hey, wait a minute now."
Right.
As as Malcolm said, "Why your skin is gold next to this," right? You
Indeed.
start reconfiguring. It changes everything. You're not the little black girl with the bad hair and the big nose and lips. You're now the statuesque African goddess, and you walk in that light. You move different. You have confidence. You don't think everything's going to go wrong. You know everything's going to go right. It changes things. So one of the reasons our enemies don't want us to reconnect is because they know they're going to realize all of our major religions, our musical schemes, our artistic techniques, all of that traces back to the motherland.
Absolutely.
All of it. Greatest story never told. That's why I like my man Lord Jamal made a song. Greatest story. You know about that.
Yeah.
Talking about the 5%. Father allowed them. But so that's why it's important. Now that's the spiritual cultural piece.
Right.
But there's a functional political piece.
Yes.
Africa is one of the largest continents. It is by far the richest continent. It has 65% of its land is arable, which means it's farmable, fertile land. Lithium, cobalt, uranium, titanium. So what happens when we of the diaspora, let's say those of us here in the States, connect with Burkina Faso and Mali and Niger and Senegal and Sierra Leone and all these countries? What happens? The power balance is shifted. We're kicking out Europeans from the continent. Now, who's the new partners? Us.
Right.
We're the new partners, the business partners. So now we can go directly to our motherland, do international trade. We could bring our expertise there. They could bring their expertise here, their resources. Changes the game.
Right.
So the same way that a Korean can kind of tag into Kia, right? Or a Korean can tag into South Korea or North Korea. They have a continent they can tap into.
Yes.
And that continent has military, economics, and land. That's what we can do. That's why it's important from the spiritual, cultural. I'm proud of who I am, where I come from. I'm proud of my aesthetics and my phenotype, to the functional, political, economic. Man, we have a big brother who's a mofo, man, who got money.
Right.
Man, imagine Brother Rakeem, imagine you about to get evicted and you see on the news some rich dude, some trillionaire brother is your uncle. You're like, what?
Right.
What you gonna do?
Right.
Your uncle.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So
Absolutely.
that's the position we're in. We can't go to them for loans and grants, especially in this climate. So when we now say Africa's opening up and we see ourselves as Africans or new Africans, that opens up a whole nother world of political and economic and agricultural and technological industry, man.
Yeah.
We have a big brother now we can go to that we didn't have before. So it's for all of those reasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's important.
Absolutely. I want everybody to make sure you check out the links in the description. I have all of the links there. Please support the movement. It's been an honor to have you on, Agyei. Again, I would like to run back, do a part 2 whenever you have some time, and I'll be reaching out again. This has been a great conversation, but I did leave some on the table. I got some more questions for you. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely like let's definitely like to do it again. So thank you for all the work that you do. Thank you for the wisdom that you constantly provide to us, and you are appreciated.
Thank you. May I say something in closing?
Yes, absolutely.
I want everybody watching this to understand, when you see this brother Rakeem and you see me, we had teachers. We didn't just come out like this. We made mistakes. We still make them. The stuff we don't understand, right? So whatever you see here, or anybody on our brother's broadcast, understand you're looking at yourself, what you could be too.
Right.
You just got to what? You got to do the work.
Absolutely.
It's do the work.
Yeah.
We don't have to front. We don't have to act like somebody we're not. Do the work and you'll be the person you want to be. And you don't
Absolutely.
have to front no more.
Right. Right. Word is bond.
So
Word is
we ain't
bond.
no great, we ain't better than nobody else, man. But we had teachers and we listened to
Hmm.
them.
Yes, that's the big thing. We listened.
Ah,
We
man.
listened.
Don't get me started
The
on
things
that.
they
Yeah,
told us
man.
to read, we read them, and we
Yeah,
asked
man.
questions, and
Sir.
so I'm again, it's an honor to build with you, and I will be in contact soon.
Thank you, my brother. It's always a pleasure, man. Keep doing that great work you're doing.
Thank you so much.